Okay, today's beer comes to us from the world-famous Belhaven Brewery, which is in a town called Dunbar, East Lothian in Scotland. This is a Scottish ale. It's also the oldest of the ales that have been brewed by Belhaven. And just to give you an idea of how old Belhaven Brewery is, it was established in 1719. 1719 by a guy named John Stone. So almost 300 years old the brewery is, and they continue to make some fine beer. This one is the most accessible, sold worldwide, and you can get this pretty easily in the U.S. We've already done a Scottish ale before. If you remember, we did Long Trail Hibernator, which is brewed up in Vermont. This one is an authentic Scottish ale, actually brewed in Scotland. I've had this beer a couple times. Both times were out of a nitro can with the widget, like if you ever had Guinness or Murphy's Irish Stout. And this is not a stout, it's a Scottish ale, which, as we explained before, usually goes through a long boil in the wort, and it really is a little more malty and flavorful than an Irish stout is. So, always loved this beer. A couple times I had it, loved it twice, never had it in a bottle. Might taste a little different from what I remember. But we'll open her up right now. By the way, here's the logo of Belhaven. Very refined and Scottish. And as is the case with a lot of bottled beer in the United Kingdom, kind of a clear bottle. So you definitely do not want to expose this to sunshine for a long period of time because it is a clear bottle, no tint to it. We'll put this in a regular English pint glass, one of the vessels you can definitely drink in Scottish ale. And we'll pour it in here, and we'll see a very huge fluffy head, and it's going to dissipate pretty quickly at a pretty rapid pace. Caramel colored, amber colored almost, with a nice frothy head to it, almost a milky, creamy kind of stout head to this beer. As we let it dissipate a little bit. Getting very frothy up top. It's really almost like billowing, cloudy, and just very foamy. Very foamy kind of a head to this beer. So definitely a lot of malty characteristics going on, which the foaminess will depict. Not too much lacing. Let's see here. Yeah, it looks like the lacing is very minimal / non-existent on this beer, at least in the early going. Let's try it again there. Not much clinging to the side of the glass. This comes in at 5.2% alcohol by volume, which is basically the mid-level range of a Scottish ale. And we'll grab the whiff of it. Wow, definitely a lot going on here. You can definitely smell the maltiness of this beer. Bit of a caramel sensation to this too. Smells very caramely, malty, and almost smoky. I don't want to say smoky, but there is a bit of a smoked characteristic to this, which is not what I was getting with Long Trail Hibernator. So it's got a very distinctive smell. I don't remember if this is the same kind of smell that I remembered from the nitro can, the widget can. But nonetheless, the head is dissipating, and we can see a darker color than when we first poured it. I can definitely see this at a pub in Scotland, and just sitting down and talking about the day's politics and the day's events and the world events and stuff like that all day, which is what they love to do in the United Kingdom. Taste test now. Very tasty beer. This is a creamy Scottish ale. Definitely has the characteristics almost of a dry Irish stout. However, just imagine a little more subtlety on the chocolate and the toasted notes, and a little more expertise put into the flavor and the maltiness. And this is basically I could see this as being a fall beer, a spring beer, a beer to have on damp, wet kind of days in the 50s, while you're sitting on your porch maybe watching the rain. This is definitely a Scottish ale. as it's advertised, and it's something that is just probably the perfect representation of the style. It's a little bit on the expensive side. I know a case of this is probably going to run about $50 or $60, which is why I love getting Long Trail Hibernator, because that ran about $15 for a case, and not quite as good, but still it was very comparable. That said, the Belhaven Scottish Ale, I will give this one an 8 out of 10.